Hello everyone, my name is Vanessa. I'm joined here today with Kendall, Stephanie, and Zane to talk about Disability Pride Month. The first question I will explore is, what is Disability Pride Month? Disability Pride Month is celebrated each year in July. Disability Pride initially started as a day of celebration in 1990, the year that the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, was signed into law. The Americans with Disability Act, ADA, was signed by George H.W. Bush on July 26, 1990. The ADA is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. The purpose of the law is to make sure that people with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. The first Disability Pride Day was held in Boston in 1990. Since then, the Disability Pride Parade has been held in Los Angeles, New York City, San Francisco, San Antonio, Madison, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, PA, St. Louis, Missouri, and the United Kingdom, to name a few. Unfortunately, Disability Pride Day is not nationally recognized. The image on the slide features George H.W. Bush signing the Americans with Disabilities Act. The second question I will explore is, why is Disability Pride Month important? Disability Pride Month is a chance to, first, commemorate the passing of the ADA. Second, uplift, amplify one another's voices and be heard. As someone with cerebral palsy who uses a mobility device, I share my story in hopes of inspiring others with cerebral palsy through the challenges I have overcome. Third, bring awareness to ableism and discrimination. Ableism is discrimination in favor of the able-bodied or able-minded people. Discrimination is the unfair treatment of people and groups based on characteristics such as race, gender, age, or sexual orientation. Fourth, recognize disability as part of identity. My disability is part of me, but it's not all of me. I'm a Mexican-American woman with cerebral palsy who uses mobility devices and loves going bowling with friends. As a society, it is important to focus on all identities of a person because by focusing on one, we miss out on all the others. Fifth, raising awareness on the importance of accessibility. As someone with cerebral palsy who uses a mobility device, I share the challenges I have yet to overcome. For example, inaccessibility at events. I share those experiences in hopes of reaching someone who can change my experience by making events accessible for all. Last but certainly not least, people with disabilities are valuable members of the community and should be treated as such. The image on the slide features disability rights activist Judy Heumann. What is ableism? As mentioned in the previous slide, ableism is discrimination in favor of the able-bodied or able-minded people. The three types of ableism we will explore today are environmental ableism, is public transportation without adaptations or seating for disabled passengers. Additional examples include able-bodied passengers seated in disabled spaces, ramps with harsh slants, and inclines beyond the accessible usage of wheelchair users. Language-based ableism is telling someone, but you don't look disabled. relatedly complements that frame positivity in spite of disability. Additional examples include calling a disabled person brave, heroic, or inspiring for their everyday experiences, or conversely, saying you could not live in their lifestyle. Societal attitudes and behavioral ableism is movies portraying disabled characters with non-disabled actors. Additional examples include pushing a stranger's wheelchair as if to support them without asking first, reaching to engage or pet a service dog that is not yours and is trying to support their owner. The rapid adoption of online work and schooling during the COVID-19 pandemic, something many disabled people have advocated for, and subsequently the reduction or cancellation of virtual options when administrations pushed for in-person or back to office settings. Next, Stephanie will be exploring disability representation in the media.
So, disability representation in the media. Unfortunately, people with disabilities are underrepresented or negatively stereotyped in the media. Raleigh Matlin is a deaf actress who is an activist, author, and mother. She has earned numerous awards and accolades in Hollywood. Her latest movie is Coda, which is about a deaf family with a daughter who has a passion for music.
What is intersectionality? So, intersectionality is basically the idea that people have multifaceted, three-dimensional identities that make them a unique individual. And these identities can include gender, socioeconomic status, race, and sexual orientation, and various other identities. Vanessa touched upon this idea a little bit earlier, and it's basically like the idea that all of these identities contribute to one's experiences, and they make up someone's personality, and they make up someone as like a whole person, basically. And in social justice movements, it's crucial that we are intersectional and truly work to achieve justice for all people. So with considering disability pride, it's important that we fight it's not just about like pride for disabled white cisgendered men, but about all people with disabilities. So it's just important that we're inclusive of everyone. Now, disability pride with a specific lens on accessibility. So making the world more accessible is a wonderful way to celebrate during Disability Pride Month. We can work to make the world more accessible through including closed captioning and interpreters of American Sign Language and various languages at events. We can also build ramps and push for more handicap and accessible parking. Furthermore, we can have discussions about accessibility and disabilities. Finally, it's important that we educate ourselves and others about the manner in which the world is currently not accessible to everyone, and brainstorm actions that we can take to make the world more accessible. And now I will pass it on to Zane.
Thank you, Kendall. So I'll talk about exactly why inaccessibility is really impactful for disability pride and how it applies to the disability pride movement. So there's something called the Inaccessibility Cycle, which is a diagram that's to the right that shows how the basic notion of inaccessibility leads to a wide world where people with disabilities really can't participate. They can't even be seen, and they won't even be considered, they will be considered as outliers or rarities. So if you look at the diagram, it starts with accessibility, and then the next one is disabled people are unable to participate, because if something's inaccessible, people with disabilities are not going to be able to be there to actually participate. So the next step will be people with disabilities are not going to be visible to the public. People won't see them if they're not participating. And if that happens, then people are going to be seen, people with disabilities are seen as outliers or rarities, and that's how they're viewed across the world. Then the last thing is there's going to be no need to consider them. So because one thing's inaccessible, it changes entirely how people with disabilities are perceived in a very harmful way. So even just making these basic suggestions that Kendall said last slide, things accessible, it can like change the way we view disability and embrace more disability pride. Awesome. So thank you for attending this. If you want to learn more, we put together these different resources. And the first one we have is Rooted in Rights, which is an actual really cool blog that allows the disability community to really tell their own stories and pave their own path as advocates or people with disabilities and really just share their stories. A really good TED Talk is I Got 99 Problems, Palsy is Just One. The third resource we have is the National Consortium on Leadership and Disability for Youth, provides a timeline on the history of disability rights. And as we know, disability rights movement is not widely known. It's not widely educated. So this is a really good resource. And the last one we discovered was Disability Visibility Project, which is an online community dedicated to amplifying disability media, stories, culture, and intersectionality. And I'll leave it to Vanessa to end things.
Thank you everyone for attending or for listening to our Disability Pride Month presentation. Have a great day.